The antithesis, this section of the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew chapter 5, where Jesus comes up and he says, hey, I'm here to fulfill the law. I'm not here to get rid of the law. Let me give you some examples. And he goes through 6 specific examples. We did the first 3 last week. He talks about murder, adultery, and marriage. This week, we're going to finish this antithesis section where he talks about oaths, going the second mile, and loving your enemies. It's the last 3 sections of Matthew chapter 5. And then we're going to start rolling into chapter 6 as well, where Jesus kind of changes the topic a little bit. But for now, let's get started by reading Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37. Thank you. When we tell someone, I swear, alternate versions could be, I promise, or if you're a kid, maybe it's cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. What are we really telling people? How old you are. That's good. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay? What else? What else comes to mind? I think Donnie, you got 50% of it. I'm going to tell you the truth this time because maybe I haven't told you the truth in the past. Oh, I promise this time. This time I'm going to do what I said is a little bit what it feels like to me, this idea of having to swear. And it was a custom. Jesus even mentions here, of course, you've heard that it was said, you shall not swear falsely. There's a law around this that we'll talk to. But it was also a custom in the Old Testament to make these oaths to people and to make these promises. And a lot of times they would kind of seal the deal with some form of collateral. And look, we do this in our culture too. You hear people say things like, I swear on my life. I swear on my mother's grave. I swear to God. We hear people say a lot. But none of us can really deliver on that promise. If whatever we are promising goes or doesn't go through. I can't swear on my life. I can't swear on my mother's grave. I can't promise anything or uphold that into the promise. And so Jesus is saying, just say yes and mean yes, or just say no and mean no. The law that Jesus is referring to and what the Pharisees had done to it is, you can see it where Jesus quotes it here. You've heard it said, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to the Lord. That's the key phrase here. What people were doing, the Pharisees had kind of been teaching, it's like, hey, if you make a promise to God, you got to keep that promise. But if you make a promise to man or to somebody else, there's maybe a little bit of wiggle room on those promises. And Jesus is saying, no, as Christians, as citizens of the kingdom, which is what the Sermon on the Mount is all about, how to be a citizen in the kingdom of God, Jesus says, just let yes mean yes. Just let no mean no. Lies are lies. Half-truths are still lies. So if you're going to make a promise, just say yes. And you don't have to worry about these outlandish oaths like people used to do, or even little tiny pinky promises like we do today. Just be clear is what Jesus is commanding us to do. So that one's kind of short and sweet. Any thoughts or questions on that one? Oh, yeah, like, I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
So this is saying, when you do that, let your yes be yes. Or it sounds like saying, you don't have to swear, just have integrity.
I like that word. So if you couldn't hear what Gina said, she said, just have integrity. Just be known as somebody who